Good morning, divorcing gracefully and beyond sisters. Happy Monday. Today is a coffee chat day and I'm here in my office today, and let me just upload this here. I think this is much better this way. You can see me properly. Good morning. I hope everyone had a good weekend. And Monday, what day is today? May 17th. Here for coffee chat. And for those of you who know me, my name is Donna Rudowitz, or though I should say don't know me, my name is Donna Rudowitz, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker as well as a rapid transformational relationship coach. And I run a company called Divorcing Gracefully and Beyond, where we help women who are either beginning, middle, or end, or even post-divorce reclaim their brilliance, attract true love that lasts, and really set their life up for the way that they want it, not for the way that they've been told, right? So many years, if you think about how you have been living your life, we live our life for our children, we live our life for work, we live our life for our past relationships, and many times those relationships and those people come before us. So good morning, Tina. How are you? So good to see you. So what we do here at Divorcing Gracefully and Beyond is we, as Divorcing Gracefully and Beyond sisters, we are a family, we are a community of like-minded women who are drawing the line in the sand and once and for all, putting that line in the sand and then creating our lives. Because when we put ourselves first and we're creating our amazing life, that impacts everybody and everything around us, right? It impacts our children, it impacts the way our life is being lived, the way that we're contributing to our lives, our families, our community. And one thing I know for sure, this is my belief, and this may or may not be your belief, but I do believe that we come to this world with a soul contract. And that soul contract means that we are going to be experiencing certain things, that we're going to be going through certain challenges, and that it's our soul's opportunity to learn from these challenges. So for us, while we're here, those challenges may seem so overwhelming and they may seem so challenging. However, the soul contract that we made was because we want our soul to evolutionize, right? And this is our time. There's no coincidence you're here on this earth right now, that you found me, that we're together, that we're listening to each other, and that we're connecting because we were meant to cross paths. So for today's coffee chat conversation, and we're going to be meeting, I'm probably going to hop in at least once a day over the next few days because I so love our coffee chats and I've been getting such good feedback from them. So I'm going to continue doing them. And one of the questions that I get often is this idea of knowing where one wants to go. So you have an idea of what you want, but not really necessarily knowing how to get there, or feeling stuck, or not sure how do you move from feeling stuck to feeling abundant and to walking on your path and your journey. So one of the things that I wanted to put on the table today is this discussion around circumstance. So in the Divorcing Gracefully and Beyond 12-week program, my students, clients will often hear me say, you are not a victim to effect. You are a master of cause. And so what has happened over the time that we've been here in this lovely world, in this place called Earth, and as we've been humaning, we have been given rules and constructs from our family, from work, from friends, right? Just society as a whole. And we have created our own constructs up until about the age of 7 is where we're just taking it all in, right? We're taking it all in and we're learning about what's right, what's wrong. We're learning about traditions. We're learning about value systems. And so what happens is we have constructs, and the way that those constructs are played out many times is we're conditioned to look at the problem. We're conditioned to look at what's wrong. And if you think about how society conditions us, think about all the television shows that are on right now. Think about all of the voyeuristic shows and how we're looking at other people's lives and how those lives are chaotic or they're going through problems and we're watching them. Think about when you turn on the news in the morning, what's the first thing you hear? It's bad news, right? And think about what's going on in the world today and all these different news channels and all this different uncertainty. And so it's leaving us in this state of chaos. So when we look at our circumstance, we become a victim to effect, because what's happening is we are stepping back from getting divine guidance. We are stepping back from grounding in ourself and being able to listen to where I say God, universe, spirit, source, whatever you say. We're losing connection to that because of all the noise that's outside, right? So now what's happening is the circumstance is now defining how your emotional set point is going to be. Now, let's put in divorce, separation, during, post, wherever you are in your divorce journey. This leads a whole level of emotions, because I often will say that it's post-traumatic divorce disorder, and it doesn't matter what stage of divorce you're in. Every stage comes with its own set of obstacles that we need to move through. So when we have when we're a victim to circumstance in the general world, let alone what's going on in our lives because of what we've been affected, right, by divorce, now we have a double whammy happening. And it's very difficult to maintain a sense of hope. It's very difficult to see your future. It's very difficult to see a way out, because what's happening is the circumstance is enveloping you. And I want to make it very, very clear, and I think this is something it's really important to hear and listen to, is we are making a meaning out of the circumstance. So the circumstance itself is just the circumstance, but we as a human are going to make a meaning about it, and then we're going to develop a construct according to how we've been living life. And so if we've been living life as a victim to effect, if we've been living life looking at what's not working for us, if we've been living life looking at the problem, if we've been living life talking about how difficult it is to find a relationship, or why do we keep staying in the same place? Why are we stuck? Why can't I do this? Why could Mary do this, but I can't? Why could everybody else find a relationship and I'm still stuck? Why do the people that I'm around seem to drain the energy, right? So the why questions are just keeping us stuck in the same place. And what they're doing is they're just creating more of a environment that we don't want. So what we need to do, and especially as a Divorcing Gracefully and Beyond sister, the choice that we get to do is we get to understand that we could create a new construct, that we don't have to be the victim of circumstance, that we can actually be the master of cause, right? That we could go in and we can change the construct and the rules by which we live life. And it doesn't need to be based upon what our parents told us or what our families have told us. My suggestion is to go in and look at these rules and constructs about the belief systems around what's possible, the belief systems around, is it possible to have a really good marriage? Is it possible to earn a really good living? Is it possible to live in your dream home, right? Is it possible to earn enough money and to have that flowing through so you could be living the life that you want? All of these things, ask yourself, what are the constructs that I've been living my life by? Have I been living my life on very limited and just focused in on the toxicity construct, or have been living my life from the place of that this life can be filled with hope and possibility, and that it can be done in a way of play and fun and effortless flow? That it doesn't need to be difficult. It doesn't need to be, I need to be grinding my way. I don't need to be sleeping every single day. I don't need to be, crying. I don't need to be stuck. That it doesn't mean that the challenge isn't going away, but it means that you're setting up with a new construct of that this life that you know is in your heart, that's the seed that's just waiting to burst out of you, instead of allowing it to stay limited and squashed, is that you're saying, okay, I may not know just yet how I'm going to get this relationship, but I know it's possible. I know there were many women before me who came from divorce and who were able to make it through their soul fracture and are in relationships right now that are so beautiful and so wonderful. And I'm learning how to do that day by day. And I'm taking one step at a time. And this is the reason why I created Divorcing Gracefully and Beyond and the 12-week coaching program, is because there are so many resources out there that aren't necessarily uplifting or good. There are resources that are good, so don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything necessarily negative about the resources, because there's different resources for different times. But when we're in this divorce process and we're looking to create a new life, we don't want to be hanging around other women and other people who are in the same sort of like, who are, or even not even the same, but before us, right? Women who are complaining and women who are just saying, oh my gosh, like this is the worst thing, and complaining about their dating and complaining about this and complaining about that, because then what ends up happening is that bleeds into you. Is you want to be around people who are focused on their future, people who understand that yes, this is their life, and up until this point, the wound isn't their responsibility. That wasn't their fault. The wound itself, the soul fracture from divorce, but the creation of their life from here forward is their responsibility. And if you don't change the way that you view the world, if you don't change your constructs and your rules, then nothing is going to change, because what will end up happening is you're just going to attract the same people, places, and things and circumstances in different ways, shapes, and forms. So it's going to look different, but it's not any different. You're just going to find yourself in the same pool of people, the same pool of the level of people, the same pool of problems, and attracting the same type of person. So if you're really serious about creating your life, if you're really serious about attracting a true soulmate when you're ready, you've got to become your own soulmate first. And this is where we take back and understand that we're not a victim to our circumstance. We are a master of cause. And you want to look for people who could guide you. You want to look for tools and resources that are going to teach you how to do that. And if my message resonates with you, I invite you to book a breakthrough to Life and Love call with my team, where you will spend 45 minutes with my breakthrough strategist, and you will go through exactly where you are today. You go through exactly where you want to be tomorrow. And if we can help and support you, we will. If there's a different resource for you that we will guide you to, we will. Because here at Divorcing Gracefully and Beyond, one woman that has a fractured heart, a fractured soul fracture due to divorce, is one woman too many in this world. I am on a mission to eradicate the pain of divorce, because there's no reason that you need to be living at a life less than what you're capable of achieving. And just because the past has defined that for you, and just because those were the constructs and the rules that you lived by, guess what? We're breaking those rules. We can. It's okay. We could break those rules and we could create new ones. And that's what we need to do. So if you're feeling frustrated and asking yourself the why questions, this is likely the reason why, is because you will never get a true understanding of the whys. I know we want closure. I know we would like to have a logical reason of why things happen. And you may receive that at some point. But if you keep thinking about the whys, you're going to keep stuck. You've got to give yourself the permission and the grace to say that the why will come to me when the why is meant, when I'm meant to hear it. Because another thing that I've learned throughout my whole time here at Divorcing Gracefully and Beyond is that if God isn't giving you an answer to your prayer, it's not because that prayer hasn't been heard, but it's because there's a reason why you're not ready to hear that. And so this is where you could look at God in gratitude and say, God, I know I'm really wanting these answers. And I also know there's a reason why you love me enough, why you're not delivering that message to me. And when that message is meant to be delivered to me, I'm ready to receive it. And in the meantime, I know that if other women could do this, so could I. I know that there's an opportunity for me to live the life that I want. I know there's an opportunity for me to create this new physiological state of being, and I am no longer going to be a victim to effect. I'm going to be my master of cause. And this way, guys, like, it's so important because your family, whether they're 5 years old or 45 years old, your children may not necessarily listen to what you say, but I could promise you they watch what you do. And as the matriarch of the family, whether you have good relationships with your children, mediocre relationships, or maybe you have fractured relationships with your children as well, it makes no difference. They're going to watch you and how you're able to recover from this and how you're able to reclaim yourself, fall in love with yourself, live an amazing life, and be the model to them, because then you give them the permission to do the same in their own lives. And we're also breaking the generational curses from the families. You may not have been able to avoid divorce. You may not have wanted it, or maybe you did, but either way, you were not able to avoid divorce. However, we could break that generational curse and pattern for your children and your children's children and the generations to come. It is time that you step up and take responsibility for your life, that you make and do the things that you need to do in order to get there, because the most successful people I know, the most successful women I know, they are the ones that are committed to doing the work. Matter of fact, there's a saying that says, if you want something done, ask a busy person. And that is so true, is that this is not a matter of if you should do the work, it's just a matter of when you should do the work, and figuring out not how to fit it in your calendar, but figuring out everything else around your calendar to do the work. So anyway, with that said, remember, you are a master of cause. You are not a victim to effect. And I wish you an amazing rest of the day. Mwah! Sending you so much love, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next coffee chat. Bye.